All right, folks, I have our new market update and some changes that you should be aware of in our current market. Folks, we've had an amazing summer. We've had a lot of sales. There have been hundreds and hundreds of property that have sold, but I will tell you there is changes. And let me just tell you kind of where we're at. When I look at the properties and I look at the Wasatch Front of where we're at, okay, we are currently up about 31% higher than we were this time last year. The good news is, do you remember when we had a conversation and we were as high as 50% higher than the year before? Guess what? We've seen that moderately be dropping. As I'm monitoring all of the sales over the months, what I'm finding is that change is coming down. Now, when we do evaluate, hey, what are the active listings? And they are up 30% compared to this time last year. What does that mean? Buyers have more options. But this is where it's correlating, and this is the difference because we're seeing less listings, which is a good thing. If you're trying to sell your home, it's a good thing. If you're a buyer, you're like, hey, as many listings as I can look at, you want to look at, okay? But if you're listing your home, you don't want a ton of competition, okay? Why? Because you're now essentially not as much as it's a bad thing. It's just that now you're preparing your home maybe a little bit different than you would in a market that has, very low inventory, because now you're competing against maybe multiple offers as opposed to now you're preparing your property so you can attract multiple offers. So just kind of think about that from a world of high inventory maybe versus low inventory. Difference is on the sold listings. So we have inventory that is up about a little over 30%, but our sold listings are only down about 1%. So the solds really haven't changed compared to this time last year. The big adjustment is days on market. Folks, days on market currently in the Wasatch Front is up 35% compared to last year, 53 days on average. And so what I would tell you is when you see average days on market ticking, what you're finding is statistically people start making some price adjustments. Now, I have met with a number of people that had appraisals here and here and here. And guess what? The market isn't there. In fact, the appraisal only looked at the numbers and it didn't look at what a buyer would pay. And so the price was maybe here. It doesn't mean an appraiser isn't worth anything. It doesn't mean that their numbers are completely wrong. It just means that sometimes the information, when you say, I just want a quick value, they're running through square footage, lot size, recent sales, and solds, and they can compare it not as a comparable property, but something that may have been at the top of the market, whereas it had every amenity. It was showcased extremely well. It had $200,000 to $300,000 more in improvements. And then on the other side, maybe our property just is a very beautiful home. It has some things, but it isn't at the caliber of the comparable sale they're taking it to. And vice versa. I mean, somebody could have they're taking it a very low value and they didn't take into account the number of amenities that that property had. As far as the market, for you to review, just remember, when you have an inventory of market, interest rates have come down from 7% to 6.75, and currently they're running around that like 6.625. So we're seeing a moderation in interest rates. So what do you need to know about the Wasatch Front, folks? We just have more options on the market. You can choose for more properties. When you get that property under contract, you're finding that a seller is a little bit more willing to work with you because guess what? They have a lot of competition and they probably have more days on market that they're very much used to, and their agent isn't so much used to that. And he maybe is going to have to walk them through it. So they're typically willing to assist in maybe an offer and negotiating that price and maybe assisting with some closing costs, which we're seeing on a number of offers that are coming in that a seller is willing to do. And on the third part of that is the buyer has the option to evaluate the home. Sometimes there's things that a seller can help with. Sometimes there's things that a seller may evaluate as compensation for. So we are seeing in the Wasatch Front good sales, number of things, but people are being a little bit more negotiable to make it mutually beneficial for the sale to go through. But the homes that are sitting, the homes that are getting no offers, the homes that are not compelling do tend to sit, and they may need to either make a price adjustment, improve the property, or consider selling at a different time. But one of the things, if you're considering selling another time, just remember, the market you sell in is the market you buy in. So if you're waiting for that property value to go up, just know the property you purchase is going to go up. The property value goes down, the property you're going to purchase is likely down. So just remember, it tends to be sixes. My recommendation to you is have a focus just like a fighter pilot, okay? They don't look to the right, they don't look to the left, they just look forward. You can't look back in the past of what you could have bought or you should have bought or what I could have done. You can only move forward. So if there's opportunities for you, purchase them. If you see something that cash flows, get it. If there's a property that you want to sell your home and you want to get into something new because you found a great home, do it. There's never a good time. You can never time it perfect. If you need help in knowing what are the values, what are the numbers, what should I do, what would you recommend, we'll give you some next steps. We'll be here to help you. Again, hope to assist you. If you have any questions, reach out. Again, talk to you soon. Thanks.